Hello, my name is Mick Roberts. I am a retired researcher with many years of experience of the UK judicial system, which also includes the prison industry. I have published books on both the judicial system and the prison industry.
I am making this video in view of the current migrant crisis and the cost of living issues, and my view is that so much of our money is being drained away when there is no need for this government to waste millions of taxpayers' money, which has contributed to this cost of living crisis. This video is about saving millions of pounds of taxpayers' money by cancelling out the huge cost of hotels in which migrants are now living in. My aim is to focus on the so-called asylum seekers who are in fact bogus and not the genuine asylum seekers who are largely families with children from war-torn countries. This is all about the male population of immigrants who have come over on small boats and who have thrown away their passports and identification papers before the so-called rescue by UK border patrols. The act of destroying their own identity documents before being rescued is in itself an action to conceal who they are and where they have come from. Actions such as these should be treated as a criminal offence and as such liable to separate penalties and permanent exclusion from this country. Genuine asylum seekers from war-torn countries could be accepted without documents if this is because of the destruction of their homes. Males who arrive on small boats often destroy their identity papers to prevent the authorities from establishing who they are and what country they came from. For many of the males arriving on small boats pretend to be a teenager, which must be some sort of loophole, considering the fact it is obvious that some of them are grown men. A simple X-ray or DNA test would reveal the truth. There should be a separate jail sentence for this criminal act of perverting the course of justice by attempting to gain an advantage by deceit. Grown men pretending to be teenagers can be a serious risk to that age group. In this country, there are many prisons that have now shut down and are lying empty all around the UK. Some are being used solely for tourists to visit who are given a guided tour of an empty prison for a small fee. Being housed within the walls of an empty prison would make it so much easier for the Home Office to monitor asylum seekers because of the empty prison's secured entry and exit point. The high walls and fences around each prison would ensure the well-being and security of asylum seekers, safe from crowds of protesters who rightly protest against their arrival here. Accommodation inside an empty prison would take away such fear because they would be safe from a protesting public outside the high walls and fences surrounding the empty prison. On the Isle of Wight there is Camp Hill Prison, which is one of many empty prisons scattered around the UK. Other empty prisons also include Gloucester, Shepton Mallet, Shrewsbury, Lancaster Castle, Dorchester, Reading and many more. All the empty prisons may also have their own medical facilities, which would save a fortune taking asylum seekers to get treatment many miles away from their hotels. The accommodations, although named as cells, can easily be transformed to suit civilian occupation. A single cell can be made into a double room and also into treble rooms for family accommodation. Many empty prisons have dormitories already. Take out the partition walls between cells and you have longer dormitories suitable for hundreds of males. All these prisons are now lying empty and unused when a bit of imagination could make them suitable for the huge influx of immigrants now housed in expensive hotels. All these prisons with ready-built workshops could be used to give some form of employment to those fit and healthy men who at this moment are lounging about in expensive hotels or are on the streets doing nothing except provoking the public and hanging around in groups watching girls and women. The huge cost would then shrink rapidly to a more affordable level. Auditors could video the now unused kitchens, workshops, recreational areas and all parts of an empty prison and present their findings to the public via the media channels. I'm sure the drone would be able to get a good view of the empty prison ground. Such videos would educate the public and prove that there is a solid alternative to the use of hotels by migrants. The only protection we have had to date is from auditors who have taken videos of the hotels around the country. Their videos have shown us alleged security guards who all appear to be from other countries. These mostly scruffy individuals are being paid high wages to keep the auditors out and away from speaking to anyone who has crossed our borders. Many of them have shown themselves to be thugs or have violent tendencies. The males who are the subject of this video are mostly young men who are not from war-torn countries, but who are using the asylum system for financial gain or criminal activity. The only other alternative appears to be this. At Dover or another seaport, have a large ferry ship standing by, and as the small boat migrants arrive, transfer them all to the ferry boat. As soon as the ferry is full, sail it to France and return all of them, either back to the beach where they started from or to an organized port, except those who are obviously in dire need of help, such as genuine families with children fleeing a war zone. My message to the government is loud and clear. Open up the unused prisons in this country to rehome all the migrants and asylum seekers whilst their claims are processed. Stop the hotels being used because of the huge cost to the taxpayer. Use the empty prisons to rehome them. I have been baffled as to why the government has not made use of the empty prisons around the country instead of the expensive hotels. All of the empty prisons are of solid construction and just waiting to be used, with ready accommodation and workshops just wasting away. I wrote to my local politician about the same subject, but he has not replied to me. He is a Conservative MP. The savings of millions of pounds could then be used to fund the social care projects of the National Health Service and also allow the strikers to have a bit more money in their pockets. Could it be that many officials are becoming extremely rich from the hotel scams?
I look forward to reading comments and opinions on this topic. Thank you for watching.